As I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. From now on and forevermore, into infinity. Welcome to Humble Pie, where we feed you the good word of God so you can survive. Brought to you by Humble Exhibits. It's your host, Saint Hunter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking idols. Why are we going to be talking idols, you say? Because in today's age, we see a lot of people worshiping a lot of things that are not the holy pie. And there's a good reason that we were gifted. And I say gifted because this is a gift to humanity. And it's a gift from God that we can choose to receive or deny. We have free will as we do our thing. But with that being said, everything that you need to survive is within the contents of this good book right here. And if you digest it as I suggest, you will realize the freedoms, the joy, the peace, and just the wonders that come with digesting this good old humble pie. With a heavy heart, I want to give you some time, and I want to give myself some time, and I just want to do the right thing by the channel. And I'm gonna have I do have a major announcement that episode 10, that's next week, episode 10 will be the season finale. Remember, episode 10 will be the season finale. I'm not done. I had some talks with some counsel and just the way I'm doing things, and I plan to revamp and make things a little bit better and just keep going. I have other projects that I'm gonna roll out in the meantime, and just to give myself a break to go back over some of the work that I've already done, see ways that I can improve and better serve you guys as I should be doing diligently each and every day. With that being said, don't lose faith. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back stronger than ever. But I think that with the humble pie side of this, I'm going to do it in seasons. Season 1, season 2, season 3, thus 4, and so forth. That way I have a break to revamp, get better, do different things, take in advice, and just do my work on the back end of things and just make sure that everything is as I would want it to provide for you guys. And with a heavy heart, I announced that, but it's also with a happy and light heart to know that season 2 is going to pop off and we're going to get right back into it like we never left. But I just wanted to get that out there so next week it ain't a big surprise. With that being said, we're going to dive right in, and we're going to start, I like to start with the Old Testament, and we'll go Exodus 20, 3 and 4. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Now, what I see in that is, and what I take is, you shall have no other gods before me. And I say that because we have a jealous God. And not jealous in the way of the petty jealousies of man. No, that's not our God. But our God is a stern God. Our God is a merciful, um, a perfect God. But one thing that perfect cannot allow is imperfections. And placing another God before the perfect one isn't perfect. And that's why it I would say enrages. I would say enrages. And we don't have a rageful God by any means. But we have a knowing God, a leading God, a God that wants you to experience his perfect love. And that's why he's so stern about you should have no other gods before him. And I think that that's a very reasonable expectation, and honestly expectation that I would not want to see fall by any means in that category. And with that being said, we'll go to Leviticus 19:4. Do not turn to idols or make for yourself any gods of cast metal. I am the Lord your God. And it's a simple statement, a simple passage. But for me, I take the fact that do not turn to idols. And when you think about your let's say people who believe in nefarious things, we'll just say that people who believe in nefarious things will make trinkets, different things to make an object godly for themselves, what we would say, whether it be, and I'll only bring up one thing, and I think it's a topic that I can bring up because I feel comfortable bringing it up. Let's just say like a voodoo priest, let's say that, makes a voodoo doll. That voodoo doll is a false idol. Um, God does not. God is way too big for one to be placed in anything besides Jesus Christ. Um, he's the only person that can, the only thing that can contain that. But people like to transgress their beliefs into what God states. So, and I'm just going to only use the voodoo because I don't want to get too far and have people in the comments, we'll talk about this, talk about that. That's for you to do. I'm just going to bring up one and just go from there. If you're playing with a voodoo doll, that means you're saying that voodoo doll is a false idol. You're idolizing that voodoo doll, right? So you can't be idolizing God. You can't be making God happy. You are actually, what I see in that is you're spitting in his face, and that goes for any uh ideology that is false. I'm using one because I don't want to sit here for days listing, but any, that's any false idol that you idolize is going against our God. And that's something that we should all think deeply about before we even think about worshiping anything. And with that being said, we'll move forward. And we'll go to 1 Kings 11. Now, King Solomon loved many foreign women, along with the daughter of a Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittite women from the nations concerning which the Lord has said to the people of Israel, you shall not enter into marriage with them, neither shall they with you, for surely they will turn your hearts after their gods. And I see this day in and day out. I have a graceful, a huge heart, and I love all nations, creeds, and nationalities, and religions. I have no animosity towards a person for what they believe. With that being said, I agree with this wholeheartedly. Simply through my walk. And I've seen many beautiful women that I know the hearts of men and how we are with our women. And I believe the same way Eve got Adam to bite the apple. The woman that we choose to lend our heart to could get us to turn it away from our Father. And our Father is a very knowledgeable, a very intentional God, and that's why He didn't put this in here to hurt us or to hurt anyone. It's to save us. And I actually went over a quote that was similar to this before at one of my Bible studies, and I actually understood it then, and I understand it now even more. But it's a definitely put in there to keep us from falling victim to false idols. And like I say, everything that we need is right here in this humble pie. And if we could just dive in, we will see everything that we need. And it's harsh. Sometimes the word, like, it feels harsh. And that's just an emotion. The bottom line is it's for our salvation. And when you think about it that way, you appreciate it that much more. And with that being said, we'll move forward. We'll go to Kings 2:17. In the 12th year of Azaz, king of Judah, Hoshea, the son of Elah, began to reign in Samaria over Israel. And he reigned for 9 years. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. Yet not as the kings of Israel who were before him. Against him came up Salmneser, king of Israel, and Hoshea became his vassal and paid him tribute. But the king of Assyria found treachery in Hosea, for he had sent messengers to sow. The king of Egypt and offered no tribute to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria invaded all the land and came to Samaria. For 3 years he besieged it. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria, and he carried out the Israelites away to Assyria and placed them in Halah and on the harbor, the river of Gozan, and in the cities of Medes. And this occurred because the people of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them out of Egypt from under the hand of the Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the customs of the nations whom the Lord drove out before the people of Israel. So, when you read that, all the story coming up to it was the fighting, all the treachery, all the fighting, the capturing, the jailing, and the torture, the pure agony of the situation, right? And then you see, as this occurred, the people of Israel had sinned against the Lord, who brought them out of the land they were just enslaved in. And what do? After they were freed, what do? They feared other gods. They walked in the customs of the nations who drove the people out. So the same people the Lord saved them from, they followed. Can you believe this? And in today's age, we see people get saved from situations that should have killed them. The Lord dug his hands into the pit and saved them. I know he dug his hands in the pit and saved me. And for that, I hold that in great esteem. I would never, ever fear what had put me in those places to begin with. I will never walk in the customs that put me in that same predicament, who shackled me in that sin. And yet, day in and day out, and I'm sure, I know that I've been rescued when I was ignorant and still was able to be tricked and was able to be led down a treacherous path. I agree. One thing I have learned about our God is He's a merciful God, a stern but merciful God, and just like those people who feared other gods and walked in the customs of the nations, our God was still with them. He was still with them, just like He's with you. But there will be a time, there will be a separation time. There will be a time of separation. And at that time, the separation will be permanent. There is no redemption. Right now, right this second, is your redemption. Right now, you have every opportunity in the world. But there will be a time. Uh, there will be a time where the door will close, and it will close for good. And I know if I can get one person through that door, if I get one person through that door, I will feel amazing. I will feel as though I'd done my part, as though I was a disciple, a prophet, a member of this beautiful kingdom that I intend and I believe that I will inherit it one day. And I hope each and every one of you, I hope that I see you there. And with that being said, we'll move forward. And we'll go to the New Testament. We'll start at Matthew. We'll go Matthew 4:10. Then Jesus said to him, "Begone, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and only shall you serve him." Um, Now, when I say that, when I see that, um, it's clear to me that, for one, we should worship the Lord our God. And for two, we should only serve him. And I think why, if you think back to what we've been discussing this whole topic, it's been leading back to how we should behave, how we should conduct ourselves as children of God. And if we dive into the book, like, I don't understand how people can say that they're Christian or they're believers and they don't hold themselves up to this standard. It behooves me, but it might just be, like I was a Christian before I was diving in. And I think that's what a lot of us are. We're Christians who don't dive in. Because once you dive in, it changes you. It molds you. It works with you. It works for you, if that makes any sense. And a lot of people are going through the motions, and they want to believe. I believe they want to believe, but they don't want to do. They don't want to. I ain't gonna say do the work, but they don't want to be enlightened. They just want to be saved. Um, and I think that the enlightenment is a part of it. It all and everything about this humble pie, it ties in with everything, and it's all has so many different meanings and different ways to look at it. But no matter how you look at it, when you see certain things, it can only be certain things. You shall worship the God, and him only shall you serve. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just bring up Donald Trump. Let's say Donald Trump, because there are people who actually worship Donald Trump, and and I'm sure Donald Trump probably feels some type of has godly power over people. And I'm sure some people would say that he has godly power over them. Uh, and that is a false idol. That's the definite, like that's what we're saying. We'll even go to Michael Jordan's or your LeBron James's, and it goes on. So I don't want to single out anybody, but I'm just using people of that stature, and how sinful and wrong it truly is in the eyes of our Father. Um, we are to worship and serve Him and only Him. And with that being said, I'll go for it. And with that being said, I'm actually gonna I have a whole lot here, but I want to skip down here to I like to tie in the good old humble pie, which came from back in BC, um, and how it's stood the test of time. It will stand the test of time. It's never going to fade, and that's just the beauty in this. And I want to just compare to what we got going on in today's age, because a lot of things are different, but a lot of things are the same as well. And I just want to compare some idols that we use today that they probably wouldn't have used so much then, that we use more today, and that are false idols that we use on a day in and day out. And number one, most importantly, I think that it would be money. We use money as our security. And one thing God likes to prove and let us know every single day is that He is our provider. He's the one that provides. That money is just a byproduct. And sometimes our faith can be replaced by our financial mindset, I should say. And I know some well, I'll just bring my situation into it because I feel comfortable talking about it. And I've been in a financial rut for a while, and I know that finances is a big part of my daily function. Uh, but I know that God is my provider. With that being said, my financial problems or my financial abundance does not take away anything to do with my faith. I know that God's gonna turn my situation around. In fact, He already has. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is that regardless of my situation, my faith is steadfast. And one thing that I see in the world a lot is people's net worths become their identity. And one thing I can for sure say that God has showed His power in my life so much is that regardless of when I was struggling or my situation as it gets better, the steadfastness of it has stayed the same. It's been flatlined throughout, and I appreciate that so much that He has proven that to me that money will never be an idol for me because I was the same without it. And if you're in that situation and God tests you in that way, remain steadfast, uh, put your faith in the Lord, and you will be provided for. And I can attest to that because there was days I had 2 pieces of lint in my pocket, and I was provided for. I had everything that I needed and more. So with that being said, money is something because we are trying to become the best versions of ourselves, and unfortunately, in today's times, that you just can't do that without it. And will it change? I don't know. Hopefully, but until then, I believe that God will provide you with money and all the things that you need. But be mindful of it becoming your identity, and I think that's more along the lines of where we fall um, from the understanding and knowledge that we're already provided for. And for two, fame. Fame is, like they say, people will do anything for clout. And that is something I've never understood. Maybe I can say I've always been, let's say, known. I guess I don't consider myself popular or depopular. I don't think like that. But I've always been known, and so I never like been like a crowded person, but I'm known. Uh, but some people will take, and I've never ever done that because I don't believe in it. But some people will take their identity within a group or their identity on social media or whatever they got going on and use that as an idol instead of using the God within them as and the God everywhere around them as their idol. They use whatever little bit of clout they may have or fame. And honestly, I don't understand that because it's really nothing. You're known or you're not known. who really cares, in my opinion. But a lot of people, really base their lives on that, and it's kind of sad when you think about it, because to keep up that image, they probably lose out on real connections that will stand the test of time for people that don't care whatsoever. And that's just the world and the times that we're living in now that that are false. Career, and God blesses you with a career. He's gonna provide you with things that you need. But when you say you use that title um, either inappropriately, or you use that as your identity, and your identity is a child of God. Your identity is not a judge, a lawyer, a police officer, a doctor, or whatever you got going on. Your title is a child of God. Um, a lot of people, even within a workplace, they use them titles to make themselves above. And I use titles to make even, um, because that's what we are. We're all connected, and we're all even at the end of the day in the eyes of our Lord who created us. I know, like we all have human emotions in us, so I can say this, and some people be like, "Well, I do have a favorite child," but like if you had 4 kids, um, more than likely you're gonna love them all the same, and that's the same with our Father, who is perfect. So if you don't love all your kids the same, it's understandable. None of us are perfect. With that being said, we'll move forward, and we'll go to political. And I say this with a heavy heart, with Iran just striking our military base today, and we know things are going to transpire in that area. So I just want to say a prayer for that, over our nations and over all the fighting parties. But that just goes to show you how political leaders um, think that they are the ultimate authority, and although they are a authority figure here on earth, God is the authority, the Alpha and the Omega. So with that being said, our political parties, our debates, um, are all pretty frivolous when it comes down to the authority of our Lord and Father. What He says goes, whether we like it or we don't. And the sooner everybody can get on board with that, the sooner we can be, the sooner we can start to push things in the way that our Father would like them to go. And with that being said, I'll move forward. Last but not least, I want to talk about relationships, and how that could be a false idol. And God fills us spiritually, and when we put a person to do the things that God should do, it opens the door to catastrophic events. Because I don't know about you, but no one can soothe me can ease me, can do anything for me the way that God can do. There's no one. Nobody can hurt me, can help me, can love me, can do anything the way God can do it. So with that being said, like no person, regardless relationship, political, anything, should be above our God. And with relationship, God gives us unconditional love. A person is expected to hold up a standard, or there's a condition in there, regardless if we say it's unconditional or not. And with that being said, that God is our true unconditional love, and that's where we should be putting our faith and our love and our trust and our belief. And with that being said, I'd like to move forward, and I would like to end this with a prayer for you guys. Also, finish off with a heavy heart. Next week will be the last episode of season 1, Heavy Heart. But I'm going to come back better than ever. So I know that, Lord willing, we're going to come back stronger and more ferocious with the next season. It's going to be better, more exciting, and I cannot wait to roll that out. With that being said, we'll go here to Psalms 9. I will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart. I will recount all of your wonderfulest deeds. I will be glad and exult in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. When my enemies turn back, they stumble and perish before your presence. For you have maintained my just cause. You have sat on a throne, giving righteous judgment. You have rebuked nations. You have made the wicked perish. You have blotted out their name forever and ever. The enemy came to an end in everlasting ruins. Their cities rooted you out. The very memory of them has perished. But the Lord sits enthroned forever. Has established his throne for justice. And he judges the world with righteousness. He judges the people with uprightness. The Lord is a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. And those who know your name put their trust in you. For you, O Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. Sing praises to the Lord, who sits enthroned in Zion. Tell among the people his deeds. For he avenges blood, is the mindful of them. For he who avenges blood is mindful of them. He does not forget the cry of the afflicted. Be gracious to me, O Lord. See my affliction from those who hate me. O you who lift me up from the gates of death, that I may recount all your praises. In the gates of the daughter of Zion, I may rejoice in your salvation. The nations have sunk in the pit they have made, in the net they have hid, their own foot has been caught. The Lord has made himself known. He has exalted judgment. The wicked are snared in the work of their own hands. The wicked shall return to Sheol, all the nations that forget God. For the needy shall not always be forgotten, and the hope of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the nations be judged before you. Put them in fear, O Lord. Let the nations know that they are but men. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. And with that being said, Heavy hearted, next week will be season finale. Coming back stronger than ever. I ask that you stick with me. And until next time, Say Hunter out. Love you.